Welcome to this quick fire vlog. This morning we're going to have a quick chat about the subject that's on everybody's lips, which is furlough and the implications of that following the announcement from Boris Johnson last night. So furlough, what is it? It's also being called the Job Retention Scheme, or JRS, or you might also hear it being called the 80% scheme. Now, this has been announced by the government to assist businesses where they ordinarily now would be laying off staff members or even making people redundant to deal with the current coronavirus crisis. The scheme is essentially going to pay 80% of the wage cost of staff members who are laid off from work, and this is now being placed on furlough. The indicator so far is that is going to include national insurance and pension costs. The reason being is this has referred to wage cost rather than net salary or net pay. So it's not the bottom line figure that they're going to be covering. It looks like it's going to be the entirety of the payslip, which, because it's 80% of that, may well have some implications for actually how much money employees receive. The advice that we're giving is that you still have to pay pension contributions. Now, those may decrease because the employee isn't actually being paid as much as they perhaps were last month, but you are unable to reduce the contributions that you are making on the pension to zero or stop paying them altogether. Employees are still going to accrue holiday whilst they're on furlough, and that's something that, depending on how long they're on furlough for, is a liability that then employers are going to have to deal with when this crisis comes to a conclusion. Topping up that 80% is at the discretion of the employer. Now, whether or not you can get that to 100% is obviously a matter for your business. Employees can't work whilst they're on furlough, so you can't give them that incentive to say, look, whilst you're on furlough, the government's going to cover 80% of your salary. If you do a bit of typing for us, we'll top you up to 100%. It doesn't work like that. If an employee is on furlough, they're unable to work. What isn't actually yet clear is whether someone can be on furlough for 2 days a week and then go into work and be working 3 days a week and prorata the payments. We haven't had any guidance on that yet, and we're waiting for some clarification. So as soon as we know that, we will update you. Now, if you are furloughing some staff, but not all of them, who are doing, say, the same job function, then what we are saying is that you should be taking the equivalent of a redundancy view to that, the way you'd undertake a procedure. Now, you can strip that procedure back. Obviously, we're dealing in a time of crisis, but we would suggest, in terms of selection of your employees, that you do follow a process in order to select people to go onto furlough. There's no indication that if the business needs to make redundancies that you can't do that and still take advantage of the furlough scheme. However, we would suggest that before you take any such steps, that you do take advice from us before you do that. This isn't termination of employment. The people on furlough leave are still employed by you. They're still bound by their contract of employment. Now, if you don't actually have the ability to lay somebody off in a contract, or you can do but only with full pay, then we would suggest that you get the employee's agreement to being placed on furlough and to that 80% payment if that's what you intend to pay. We can assist you with the wording of that agreement and how you go about getting that agreement from your staff members. Because what we don't want to be doing is kicking some liability further down the road in terms of breach of contract or potentially breach of trust and confidence, or unlawful deduction from wages. So get in touch if you need anything. Things are very busy, but we are getting back to everyone. My direct details are alyssa.thirstfield@gamlins.co.uk, and we're here to help as much as we possibly can during this difficult time. As soon as we have any updates, we will of course let you know. Many thanks for listening, and we'll speak soon.